Hello and welcome to this video comparing Windmill and Kestra. So today we'll build the exact same workflow on Kestra than on Windmill. We're only focusing on the workflow building experience and we won't cover all the features of the two platforms. And the example we're going to take is one of the examples provided by Kestra data engineering pipeline. Okay, so first of all, we create a new flow from Kestra. And as you can see, the flow editor is a YAML editor. So we are renaming our flow and creating a first step. So as you can see, there are many types here. And for this one, we want the HTTP download. We have to provide an ID for the step and an URI. Okay, so first step is created. We can delete the default one. So for this one, we create a Python step. And as you can see, there are 3 Python types. So for this one, it's script. We have named the step transform and add code. So as you can see, the code uses an environment variable called columns to keep. So we'll have to leave the step editor, go to the flow editor and add manually from the YAML the flow input. So the ID is columns to pick, the type is an array, and we'll provide the item types, string, and default values. So for the template used by Kestra, it's brand and price. So now we have to go back to the step editor, add the name of the environment variable, so how it's used in the code, and where to get it from. So here, the flow input. Okay, we want to add input files, but I don't know why we can do it from the step editor. So we have to go back to the YAML and add a value input files, and then data.json. And then we can pick output from extract step, the step before, and the URI. Okay, we can provide ourselves the output files that will be used later. And we have our second step. Last step is a DuckDB query. Thankfully, Kestra has a type for this. The ID will be query, fetch type will be store. Then for the input files, we'll use the product, the JSON, that was the result of the previous step. And we'll use the product.json file. Okay, and now the pure SQL query. And as you can see, it's using argument working directory products.json. Okay, so now we have our flow ready. So as you can see, we have the YAML on the left, and then a visual representation of the steps on the right. There is no way of testing these through nor the steps themselves. We have to save it to test this. Okay, the flow is saved. We can provide custom flow arguments. So defaults are brand and price. We can change the values, like for example here on modif. Go back to price, run it, wait a few seconds, and then we have our flow. So for each step, you can get the details of results and logs. So it was run in 5.5. So as said earlier, we won't cover all the features. We're just focusing on the flow building experience. So now let's see what happens on Windmill. So like Kestra, we have the workspace that is on localhost. So meaning we are hosting it on Docker. And we're going to create a flow from the home page. On the left, we have a graphical representation of the flow. And on the right, we have the flow settings where we can provide a path and even a summary to our flow. Okay, so we can add a new step in any supported language. So for the first step, that is the extra step, we just take a TypeScript script and with code, fetch the dummy URL. For the next step, we are just going to pick Python, which is only one type in Windmill, and paste this code. So as you can see, our main function has 2 arguments that we can find on the step input menu on the bottom. We can connect them with low code. So for the data argument, it will just be the results of step A. It can be written manually also. So we have another argument called columns to keep. We'll create a flow input with the same name. Just say that it's an array, and that's it. We can also add defaults. So here, price and brand, just like the Kestra example. So let's go back to our step. And as you can see, it says that there are step inputs that are not connected. And with the local editor, we just have to connect them to flow inputs. We name the step and create our last step. As you can see, there are plenty of pre-filled scripts. We can even serve them or generate them with AI. For this time, we just need a Python script. We'll just import the dependency at the beginning of the script, and it will be inferred directly. And as previous step, we just have to connect the step input to the previous step's results. We can even test the flow before saving it and deploying it. And as before, edit the flow input. And we could even test each step from the steps menu. So let's deploy the flow and run it. As you can see, it was already run in 1.3 seconds. We have the flow result directly seen on screen. And we can, of course, inspect each node's logs and results. So as said earlier, this flow was one example provided by Kestra. And the goal of this video was just to cover the flow bidding experience to show you how it works with both platforms. Thanks.